That was awesome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I am so excited to get this live stream started with you all in the Pace Morby Facebook page. It is also going to be shared to the Creative Real Estate Pace Morby page as well. And I am kind of stepping in for Derek today, helping out hosting these. I'm Alex. I'm a part of Pace's social media team, and we're having a Girl Power Tuesday here today. We've got Kimberly and Evelyn, and we're going to talk, Kimberly is going to ask some questions of Evelyn, and I will be helping everybody out in the chat, dropping links that are relevant for you all to get you to the right place. One thing that I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to is we are going to be having the Money Bee Challenge coming up in the free Facebook group, Creative Real Estate with Pace Morby. So if you're wanting some actionable steps with the man himself, feel free to register for that event. And I will also drop that link in the chat. So let's hear it in the chat, and I will give the stage to Kimberly and Evelyn. So happy that you all are here.
Wow, that was an amazing introduction. First and foremost, thank you, everybody, including Alex that's filling in for Derek. When I saw her, I was like, oh, shoot, it's someone outside the norm. So it takes a small army to pull these things off with emails and to make the guest and the host feel like confident and secure. Because let's be honest, people, doing lives is hard. Like, we were having a conversation backstage. Like, I mean, you could literally have a stroke or a heart attack, and that's going to be on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So thank you to the Morby Media team for making Evelyn and I feel like right at home. So I am Kimberly. I am your live at 5 every Tuesday host for the creative space. And a little bit about myself. I connect, I consult, I close, and I do lots of things in real estate. But then outside of real estate, I'm also a nursepreneur. I'm a nurse by trade. I'm also a CPR instructor, a coach. I do wellness. I'm an author. I'm a keynote speaker, podcast host. I have my own ministry here in Southwest Michigan, and I just do a little bit of everything. And today I have the honor and pleasure of hosting the Evelyn Garcia. I'm going to let her tell her story and what words that she wants to tell you guys. But this woman is an amazing powerhouse. I met her for the first time in Midtown Manhattan at a meetup with Chris, and my business partner was speaking, and I just fell in love with her. Like, she is such a gem. And then I actually heard her story on stage at Golden Ticket, and I just was blown away. And we've both encouraged, we both have, like, I think, and I'm going to speak for you, girl, we both have confidence in issues with speaking and doing lives and doing uncomfortable things. And so it's just crazy that in my email, it like popped up that it was you. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be so much fun. So with that being said, welcome, Miss Garcia. What's up?
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. And yes, I am nervous, but I'm excited. But I'm a little bit like more in my comfort zone because I am home. I'm not looking at like 100 eyes on top of me. So I'm a little bit better. But
Awesome.
so a little bit about me. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised here. I'm still here in Brooklyn. Don't know why and how I'm still here because I do want to move out of New York in a more quiet zone. The only place that I could go probably to have peace is in the cemetery. Not a creepy, but but yes, I do walk the cemetery just to get my silence in this crazy city. Um, I'm a transaction coordinator. My company is Anchor ITC. We have been doing transaction for the past almost 2 years, but I did get into real estate in 2018, and I just been getting my feet wet in anything and everything possible that I could possibly think that I could manage and do. Um, and we just closed hundreds of transactions so far. It's been an amazing journey. It's not easy.
No, it's not.
Transition is not easy, but uh, gotta have a lot of um, like woo-ha stamina. Just breathe and just keep going, keep pushing these transactions forward, and just like get them closed. That's all. My main thing is like get them closed, get them closed. That's
Yes, and I'm gonna recap that. So Brooklyn, I think like New York people are very misunderstood. I think New York and Michigan people are those are the two states. And you talk about peace and quiet. Come and visit me. I'm walking distance to the beach. I have an RV. Like I got you. If you want peace and serenity, I'm your girl. Okay. But like New York people, I feel like you guys like because I lived in Philly, so I'm very familiar with the East Coast, very familiar with New York and working with people on the East Coast. You guys are so misrepresented. You guys come off as like tough and rough and chaotic, but really most of all the New Yorkers that I meet, they're just big teddy bears.
I think we are in the like in the inside. But the thing is that we do have is like don't get it twisted, kind of like we
No, right. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, honesty is great. Like, there's so much like, hey, how are you? Like, it's a fake fairy tale. It's not the total truth. And that's what I can appreciate about East Coast people and New
Mhm.
Yorkers per se, is because you never have to guess where they stand. Like,
Yeah.
period. Like, you just know, and they're very like it's just it is what it is, you know. So you mentioned that you have Anchor Light. It's your business now. Are you the CEO of the business, or do you have partners? Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm the CEO. I do have my partner, but Damien Michalowski, but he's
Mhm.
not. Everybody thinks that he's like like an official partner, like he owns Anchor Light TC, but he doesn't want to be official owner for whatever crazy reason. Um, yeah, he does have his great, awesome that he W-2 job that he loves, and he says that he's never gonna quit. So I leave him alone, but he does act like my partner, but he is with me. But I am definitely the CEO. I am the everything in the all in the background. Everything is just me.
A woman-owned business, like this is big to have. Like this is the first time that I've hosted that there were three women. I mean, Derek's amazing. He is like the biggest hype beast. Like he gives you compliments. He makes you feel at ease. Like he's just one of those brothers from another mother that makes you feel totally confident. But there is just something. There is power in conversations like this with women because we have different struggles in the field. We just do. You can't compare, and that's fine. So anytime that there is a woman that owns her business, like here we already have comments coming in. You're an inspiration, Evelyn. Yes, she is for reals. Like it's huge because there's so many different dynamics that come with first owning a business, but then owning a business as a female. We have our own different problems, and it's okay. And those differences we embrace, but you hit it on the nail. And like kudos to you. I know that you have even more of a story outside of your TC journey. What were you doing actually before you got into TC work and owning Anchor Light? Because I know your story, but I don't want to tell your story. So I want you to share as much as you feel confident in.
No,
Like,
I will. So you want me to start from the beginning? I don't know how much time we have, but I will start. So back in March of 2018, I decided to go on vacations to Costa Rica, and I decided I'm not leaving this country until I go bungee jumping. And I was with my sister 'cause she was my traveling buddy, and my sister did not want to jump with me. I was like, "Are you seriously gonna let me, leave me do this by myself? Like I'm gonna stand there and I have nobody?" So I did it. I was like, again, I was not gonna leave this country without jumping. I was 40 years old. No, was I 40? 39. 39. I was turning 40, and I just had that. I think everybody, most people that turn 40, it's like it's a midlife, and you just try to get to know who you really are, and just try to explore and push yourself into other limits that
Mhm.
you never done before. That was my experience. So I was there by myself. No one was there with me. I was in this little cart trolley thing that goes in the middle of these two mountains, and I was only with the instructor. No one. I was totally alone, and I had to find that force for me, because it took me at least 10-15 minutes while I was just standing at the edge in order for me to jump. And once I jumped, I just had this. It was just like an awakening experience. It's like, if I could do this, I could do anything in the world.
Wow. Wow.
So I really recommend anybody to do something that they have a fear, or they just always wanted to get it done.
Mhm.
Do it, because then you're just gonna come out feeling totally different, and just like you could accomplish anything in the world. So I took them, like, that mindset that whatever I get into, I'm just gonna jump right into it, just like the way I jumped off, when I went bungee jumping, and I saw an advertisement for fix and flip. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I could fix and flip. And I was like, okay, let me learn with the best. It was the most expensive, when beside my college, but after college, my most expensive educational or anything that I went into. But again, I was like, okay, my father was a contractor, my sister's an electrician, I'm a property manager, I have building certificates, building maintenance certificates. I think this is something that I could definitely do. So I jumped right into it, and I was like, let me just go into it. um Lo and behold, that a lot of people that comes into real estate, they don't understand that real estate is a lead generation company, industry. You have to create
Just a little
leads,
bit.
just a little bit.
Just a
It
tint.
doesn't matter how you do it, but you gotta generate leads, either by connections or marketing, whatever it is. And
Dropping nuggets, people. Dropping nuggets. Listen to what this chica is saying.
so I was like, okay, so I tried to learn as much as possible. Went into I don't even know. I was like maybe every other day in a network meeting in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, in New Jersey, all the way to Pennsylvania. I was going everywhere. My son was, I think, he was about 19, so I was like, I could leave him alone and just do me. So I met someone that became one of my biggest mentor in New Jersey, and I just learned a ton. But I was still marketing, and with this huge debt that I went into, with the educational program, um, I just decided, okay, my son, I have to go and do. I'm not gonna fail, because that's not the type of person I am. We are moving out. I'm going to rent a room so I can save more money to put into my marketing. That went from going into a room to going into making a decision of moving into a storage unit. And I lived in a storage unit for a year and a half. Um, but my whole concept is like, because I'm not going to fail in this. If I have to just knock out every single bill that I have to put it into my marketing, that's what I'm going to do. And then, you know, wholesale deals came. It took me quite some time to figure it out, and then I'm here in New York City, like the most toughest real estate market ever.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like, people talk about hard, but there's hard and there's New York hard. And wow, truly inspirational. It was do or die. It was do or die.
Yes,
Angie, like, I heard this. I didn't know about the bungee jumping per se. I knew about the storage unit and other things, but yeah, New York, like, everyone like talks about how creative, like, it's a whole different beast in New
yes,
York. That's why no one invests there. Like, even Pace is like, yeah, no,
no.
sorry, not messing with that.
Mhm.
Like, too many issues. And so to do what you're doing in New York as a female from a storage unit, like
I
we
did
need to
it.
talk about books here. We talked about this before. We need to get that book going because I'm publishing my second story that's dropping on 9/24. So when you're ready to get these words on actual trees and get it out to the masses, I got your back because like I just love this. So yeah, carry on.
I was just, I don't know. I was just born as like, and again, like, if I remember the story of even when I was born, it's the when my mother says it to me, I'm like, oh my God, am I really that special? But it was in
You
1977,
are.
July, the most biggest blackout in history in New York City. My mom was way too afraid to have me, and she stood in the house with labor pains, and then she just couldn't take it anymore because it started in July 15, and she said July the by the night of July 17, she's like, okay, I gotta go. And when we got to the hospital, she gave birth that like at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when the lights went up. When I came to the world, I was like, but the way she explains it, it's like it's so you have to hear the story. It's like you brought light to the world, Evelyn. You're gonna be amazing in this world in your lifetime. And I was like, okay, so I'm in real estate, so I want to be like this star that this light that she says that I'm going to be when I came to this, this world, this earth where we are. So that's my little like life of how I came into this world. Um, but yeah, but back to like the real estate, I kept on going. I got one property under contract, and believe it or not, my first contract was a sub two. I put it under sub two. The
In
guy,
New York or Jersey?
it was in New Jersey. It was in
Okay.
Patterson, New Jersey. The guy wanted to move. He was moving to Maryland, and I knocked on his door. I text him. I sent him a postcard. I mailed him a letter, and then the last straw was when I called his ex-wife. He was like, wow, woman, you really want my house? He was like, I'm leaving in a week. You want this house? Come and get it. I flew from all the way from Brooklyn to Patterson, New Jersey, put it on the contract, subject to, and that was my first property. He just gave it to me. Subject to, here, have it. Take it.
Wow. So
Um,
was this before the mentorship or was this like you were already in the mentorship?
I was not a sub two student.
That
I,
is just so like I learned a few things. I'm learning more and more about you and that's amazing. But I want to circle back to is that why Anchored Light is named that because of the light?
yes.
Ah, I
Right?
knew it. I
And the
knew
anchor is like, I'm
it.
going to hold you down. Anchor light, yes.
Okay. I thought so. I was like, is she going to tie that in or no? And I was because I didn't know that. I didn't know the story about your entrance into this amazing planet. So I was like, I wonder if Anchor Light is that's super cool. So you did a sub two before the mentorship, and then
Before
you
the
just started investing in yourself, doing wholesale marketing, sub two, and so you literally you were self-taught essentially, and
yeah.
then from there, then you found the community, and then you joined sub two, and then
Well,
TC.
I found the community because just networking. These two guys was like, oh, I'm going to Phoenix. I'm going to meet this guy. He really knows what he's doing with subject to transaction. I was like, okay, great. I was already a little bit torn with the first mentorship that I joined. I was like, I'm not. I'm learning this on my own. I'm going to go just do this on my own. I did not want to get into any other mentorship. I was not feeling it. They joined. They were one of the first people. It was like it was only about like 400 people, maybe even less. They were like one of the first to join with Pace. But I took my time, and then here comes Damien, and one day he was like, "Hey," I was like, "What?" He's like, we joined Pace. I was like, really? Are you serious? It's like we joined the Pace, and it's been just phenomenal. After been 2 years. It was February 2020, 22 that we joined Sub Two, and then it's just been great. After that, I was like, if it wasn't for Damien, I wouldn't be here like where I'm at, and join, because I just wouldn't have not done it, and I wouldn't have regretted because it's been great.
Wow. So you're like an OG, and shout out to Damien. And I mean, the comments are flowing in. Love your story. And that's what's so powerful about networking and having your community is you align yourself with people that won't let you fail. And like Angie says, the power of community.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. When you have people like Damien that like bring you in and encourage you. So, I mean, that same thing with my partner, Frank. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, really, like he was the connect between you and I and Daniel and Chris and at a meetup in Manhattan, like in October. And now I'm coming back on your birthday and speaking at an event in Jersey on your birthday. So it's just like, it really is full circle.
It's so weird.
Yes, it is. It's
It's
not
ironic.
weird. It's like magical and mystical and just it's really cool. It's just I
It,
mean, I've been getting chills the whole interview. I mean, because like I said, when you showed up in my inbox, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me because I don't like this is not like pre like this is like what's the word that I'm looking for? Improv. Like we don't get props on what to say or what to do. We get a few questions and they're like, just go. And so like when we're interviewing people, they're all different because you might know some, you might not. And so to have you in my inbox, I'm like, this is going to be so easy. Praise the Lord, because it's hard doing lives, right? And so when I saw your name, I was like, oh, she'll make me feel at home.
thank you.
Yeah,
Likewise.
absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the deal that you
The deal.
found because we heard your amazing
Mm-hmm.
story, which just keeps on getting better and better each time that I speak with you. So just tell us a little bit about the deal, how you found it, who was involved in it, like from open to close, and all the ins and outs between that.
Yes. So that day that you met me in
Mhm.
New York City when I was presenting, um, another substitute student came to me. Was like, I have a deal in Albany. I want you to be the TC because after that whole presentation you gave is like, I would never do a transaction without a TC. I was like, okay, great. I put fear into your heart to come to me, and that's fine.
Here,
Like,
face
you
everything in
need a
eyes or
TC to
face
close
everything.
this. Without us, it's gonna go to transaction heaven. So she hired me, and the deal was another such a student as well. It
Mhm.
was a wholesaler sending it to her, and we closed my first New York sub two, and it's just like, it's amazing because I was like, okay, I want to prove that this can be done, and I know other people have done sub two in New York, um, but I haven't met anyone that has done it. So it was like Santa Claus. Like,
Mhm.
it's are you real? So it's real. It can be done in New York,
It
and
can. It can.
I have another transaction that's hopefully is gonna happen in Uptown. It's in the East Side, 180.
Ooh. When's that
And
happening?
yeah, it's in the works. We like the attorneys are going back and forth, but
Mhm.
it's just it's happening, and it's like, and I hope to more New Yorkers get on board with the such two transactions, and just get this thing done and believe in it because
Yeah.
it's real. It,
Make it more normalized. So when are
yeah,
you looking to have your COE on that one in Uptown?
Uptown. Uh, Thursday, we are finalizing it with the attorneys.
Okay.
Hope I'm praying to God that they don't come to me and say no. Like, no, it's mostly the sellers that always, the seller's attorney, so is the one that it's like, oh, crazy, keeping the mortgage in your name, like what, are you nuts?
Yeah.
But if you have all the right documents and everything that's gonna help the seller, even get the property back, if anything goes wrong, can be put in place. And that's what a
Mhm.
lot of attorneys actually don't know about. And
Right.
because I have
Right.
educated so many attorneys and even title companies, and the more that we are out there, the more the curious they are. Like, I want to at least do this once.
Mhm.
I want to see how this works, if this really is something that I could potentially do going forward. So I walk them through the whole transaction, and this is what you need to do, and this is why you got to do this. And how about insurance? Don't they need insurance? It's like, no, we're going to keep the insurance in place. It's the whole walkthrough of
Mhm.
a substitute transaction, and it's been amazing, because it's just like, from my story to now, I'm like educating attorneys, like what's going on here?
Well, well,
From my
no,
story
and
to where I started to educating attorneys, like, it's amazing.
right. Yeah. Like, where's my cape and like my uniform and my gloves and my hat and my sword? You seriously feel like that when you come from because I'm a nurse by trade. And so when you have conversations like this with attorneys that are supposed to be the experts in their field, and you're telling them new strategies and structures on how to utilize contracts for security, like that's huge because it puts you then in their spot, and sometimes that makes people uncomfortable. Let's be clear with that. And if you're a female talking to a male, then even 10x is it. And so yeah, it's huge. So I heard two things: fear. My favorite thing is face everything and rise, or face everything and run. So that is like so true for the New York. And sub
Yeah.
twos can be closed. Like, my partner Frank is closed sub twos in New York. You've closed sub twos. Other people are doing it. So the
Hmm.
more that people get into the areas where it's harder, the easier it's going to be, because then it's going to be more like a normalcy, as much as creative finance can be normalized, because there are nuances. I think that people don't always, they want to make it like some fairyland, but it is very true. This is hard. This is an advanced strategy, but with the proper security tools and resources and support, you can make these successful. Because what are the stats? Like 70% of creative deals actually don't make it to closing table or something like that. Like, it's high. And it's because things happen and people back out, and you have to do so much education and be on the processors and the attorneys. And if you're not having a TC do that, because my LLC is top tier certified, but I don't want to be any part of it. I just took the mentorship because I wanted to be able to vet people differently, learn more, and then when I hired them, to know exactly what to be asking. I TC'd one from open to close for a land contract in Michigan. No, 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 gracias. Like, no, no. And so, like, what you're doing after having the experience that you had already coming into the table, that's massive, because you're already coming in with doing this before mentorships, and now you're just refining. And that's amazing. Kudos, girl. Like, I mean, I knew that you were bad to the bone, but I didn't know that you were this bad to the bone.
Yes. Uh, One of the things, being a TC is it's overwhelming, and I know there's going to be a lot of TCs. The top tier TC community is growing. It won't get. I don't want to say it like in a negative way, but no, it won't get easier. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
it won't get easier. However, you will get used to it.
Mhm.
if
Sure.
that's if that's if you understand that, you will get used to it. You will get used to the complexity. You will get used to people, you know on you to get this deal closed, and things will go bad. There's always a problem in every transaction. There's always
Mhm.
something. It could be the most silliest thing, and there's something's happening, but
Yes.
you will just get used to it, and you will be able to figure it out and be that problem solver for the whole team. That's what a transaction coordinator is there, is to
Mhm.
be that person. In the beginning, it will be overwhelming, and you probably won't be like, I don't want to do this TC stuff anymore. But you will get used to it, and you'll be fine. A year later, you'll be like, okay, I got this. I have 25 transaction on right now going on, and I'm like, okay, that's not a problem. Um, and you just help how to manage it.
Right. And like Alexandra says, learning and growing is imperative to your success. Like,
Success.
absolutely. You learn, like, I come from a nursing background. So ICU, CTU, OR, ER, like everything but survival flight, working on the farms in Southwest Michigan through COVID. You learn to create your own calm in the chaos and circus of real estate. And that's how you can use your other talents coming from your experiences and things that you've done in your W-2, your family, whatever, and then apply them. But as long as you have the right team and you're listening to the correct people, because you don't always want to take advice from everybody, right? Know who you can trust to just kind of guide you to that closing table. Because I've told Molly before, like, TCs, I feel like, are the nurses' aides of the hospitals, because they take the brunt for everything like a nurse does. If something's not right, if something fails, you're
Yeah.
always getting blamed, and you have to be able to not take it personal, perception versus perspective, and go with it, and then pivot with purpose, and know that pressure is a privilege, and just keep trucking to the closing line. Because if you can't do that, then it's probably not the best fit for you. And I like that you were so
Yes.
transparent and authentic about that, because it is tough, and you do have to remain calm and keep your composure through the chaos of the transaction, because you start off like looking all 5-star, and you end up looking like, crazy Barbie. I
Crazy
mean,
puppy.
seriously. Like, so what are your plans next? So we know that you're a bad mama jamma that owns her own company, UTC, you have wholesale, you close sub twos in New York. Like, you pretty much have done everything.
A little
My
bit of
question
everything.
is,
Yeah.
what are you going to do with this sub two in Uptown? Are you going to
But
do
I mean,
anything
I'm
with it?
TCing it. I'm
Oh,
TCing.
you're TCing
Right.
it.
I'm
Okay. I thought you were keeping it or holding it.
No, no, no.
Awesome.
I'm TCing. I,
Okay,
I
cool.
invest more in Pennsylvania. So if
Okay.
anybody has any sub two, especially in the northeast or the southeast and the eastern of Pennsylvania, Damien and I would definitely take a look and buy it, especially if it's
Mhm.
creative.
Yeah, sure.
um, for sure. But yeah, but what are we doing next in Ankle ITC? We are going our team. I am interviewing this whole week. I've been interviewing. Hopefully, we keep on growing and growing and growing. But this is the first time that we are adding new TCs to our team.
Oh, cool. Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
it's been like
amazing.
2 years, and I know when the first top TTC came along, everybody was like, "Oh, I wanted to join a team," and I was like, "Sorry," and I felt really bad, but it's just like I'm still growing myself. I want everybody to come, but it's like I can't. And it still feels the same way now. It's like I
Mhm.
want everybody to come, and and we have this massive TC army, but I'm only one person.
No, I mean, kudos to you for scaling securely and safely, because so many people
Yeah.
in this industry do not have systems and operations in place, and then they cause chaos
Hmm.
within other people's choices do result in a consequence. And when you scale too quick, it just gets quirky and crazy, and you can't sustain that. So to be self-aware and have that emotional
Yes.
intelligence to be like, okay, I'm not hiring people in now, but I will later. Like, that is an amazing attribute of a quality leader and entrepreneur. I mean, and like when you're living in like a storage shed, these are the kind of qualities, people, that make you think this way, because you don't want to get too big too fast. So
Yes.
kudos for you
So
on that. So
yeah.
you're
So
interviewing all this week. How many people are you looking to hire?
5.
Five. Whoa, that's quite a bit. Full time, part time, or as
Um. Well, I'm I'm open to anything, but to be
okay.
honest, it really depends on like the if I want to have someone part time. Really
Mhm.
depends why.
Okay.
Why is it that you want to do this part time? Um, because honestly, just being a TC, you really have to be there to be able to communicate, um, like almost all day,
Yes. Oh
all
my,
day. When I mean all day.
all
I get
day.
texts at
Using your
midnight. I
voice.
get emails all
Mhm.
sorts of hours. It's like, am I gonna respond to some of them? No, because I have boundary. I have a life, but
Mhm.
so it really depends. The part time, but I'm definitely open to, or I just want to make sure that the person that's going to be joining is going to be happy
Mhm.
with Ankle TC, and just we all vibing and flowing, because TC work can get overwhelming, but then
Mhm.
I want to have people that's going to be joyful around me. Like, I don't want this is stressful enough. Like, why I want
Right. That part. You don't want any negative Nellies or crazy
no,
Karens or
not at
Kevins. Like no bueno, like lo siento, like.
but another goal for Ankle TC, because Damien it's a broker in 5 states, and he is working for Florida. We're
Mhm.
definitely looking to open the brokerage. We're gonna start in Massachusetts and then go to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and work our way down. So that is definitely in the works and the plans. We've been speaking about it, but now we have to actually start taking actions. So
Nice.
that is also coming too. So it's like
Awesome.
Ankle brokerage, East Coast taking over.
For reals, dominating the
Yeah.
territory with a T. Yeah, and you said something that was really important about the part-time, because when I was going through the training and just interviewing, because I've interviewed for when I get ready to scale, it's like I talk to people and they have already a W-2. And I was like, okay, so what are you going to do when you're at your W-2 and you need to talk to an attorney or you need to talk to a processor? How are you going to walk away from your already established duties from one employer and come to me? And that's why I took this course and had our LLC certified, because I wanted to know I wanted to know the correct questions to ask, because it is, you need somebody on the phones, like your email thread. I've helped TC, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6, and I've done one all by myself. And like sometimes your emails get like, dude, like 150, like
150
it's
minimum.
crazy for uno. And like sometimes you're redoing your documents. Like I had to redo my documents 3 times leading up to a sub 2 close in
Mhm.
Lansing, because it was like the seller was in jail and we had issues with the DPOA, and we had to do every day we were supposed to close, we had to redo and re-sign the paperwork. And as an investor, I know that. And that's why I think it's really important to know exactly the duties of a TC, because it's not just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's being available for the investor, for the attorneys, for the processors, and having these conversations back and forth to advocate on the behalf of that investor. So you take it from open to close, and you need to do that. You need to be all in. You can't be toes in, fingers out. Like you need to be. So
Yes.
awesome job for
Yeah.
recognizing that. That was phenomenal.
Since I've been a TC, I have to turn off all my notifications on my phone, because it's just like I need
Yeah.
full concentration, especially when you say like I need to review these documents. I
Mm-hmm.
need total silence. Like it's so distracting. I turn off Facebook, all the social media. It's turned off, and when I have the time, I will go and just check social media, check my messages. But am I gonna respond to you right away? No, because I have everything off. The only thing I probably have is just maybe my text, which is I just got a text. Um, so it's all right. Um, but that's it. That's about it. That's what I have. Like on my phone, giving me notifications, because yeah, you have to pay attention.
You do. And so, I mean, I heard two things. You are focused and you get it to the finish line. So that is kudos to you because not a lot of people, I just had this conversation with Daniel today. I was like, and Frank, I was like, it drives me insane because I come from a medical background. So the transition from medical to business has been really tough because like you can't make mistakes in medicine. If you make a mistake in medicine or you don't do what you're going to say, people will die. There will be a catastrophic effect from that choice that and so like and business is so can be so sloppy, and if you don't have somebody like yourself with that mindset that you're going to be like completely laser focused to finish the task, you're in trouble, folks. And so I mean, hit up like Evelyn and Anchor Light because I mean, obviously just by this interview you can see Home Slice runs a tight ship, period.
Yes,
You
yes.
do, for sure. So, how can people contact? What's the best way? Do you like to communicate through social media, through your email, through your phone? And we can drop it in, the commentator can drop it in the comments and then it'll be out on YouTube Universe, forever. So, definitely like put like where people can find your website. We have your handle. Is that your Instagram handle, the Evelyn Garcia? Okay.
Instagram and Facebook and YouTube.
Okay. So that's
Even
the
though my
best
YouTube
way.
is empty. I
Okay.
have to work on that.
What about your website? What's your
So
website?
the website is Anchor Light TC. It's
Mhm.
anchorlighttc.com.
So
Um,
anchorlighttc.com.
yes. If anybody has a deal that they want to submit, they could definitely go right into the website and just submit the deal. Is the intake form there? We will get in contact with you within hours, and we just talk, rock and roll. The other best way to reach us, and this is a team phone number, it's 516-788-8881.
It's an easy
Um,
one.
yes. You could text us, call us, or the whole team has that number.
I love it. And you can tell that you already have your CRM ready to rumble.
Yes. Yes. Well, I said I did acquisition for about 3-4 years. So it's already, I had it set up and I was just like, okay. And now I just have the transition to teaching.
You're a powerhouse, girl. Like you seriously are. You're an inspiration to me and other people. And I'm just so glad that you have shared your story. And I know that you have layers, just like myself, you have layers like an onion of stories and seasons and everything. And so I am really looking forward to following your progress and just seeing you blossom as an entrepreneur, as a woman,
Yeah.
all the roles that you wear every single day, because I know you wear many, and I'm in awe of what you've done with what you were able to spin off of and just completely come out on the bright side and be joyful, and you show grace, and you're amazing. You're an amazing human. One question. So if somebody was on the fence of joining the community and like, oh, I don't really know, I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid, what kind of advice would you give them if they were on the fence of joining either like sub 2, Gator, or top tier?
Well, if they know about all three, I think you should you and I I think you should maybe figure out where you want to be too, because TC is a special whole creature for us. Like, um, and
Right.
if you don't want to be that person that is going to be closing this transaction, and
Mhm.
listen, we only have about like 3 weeks uh, average to close these transactions, and so it's a lot of pressure. Um, but if you want to be like the visionary, like someone like Pace, then definitely go into the sub two community. There's tons of visionaries in there, and network like yourself. And if you love to network, definitely sub two community is where you need to be. That's that squad of Summit in Florida. That was just insane. insane.
It was so cool.
Like,
And we got a great picture
my
too.
God, it was so crazy. I was like, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, okay, guys, I cannot do this. I gotta go. But
I'm like, oh my goodness, I need earplugs. Let me go to my solitude and get peace. Yeah.
networking to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was just, it was, if you're one of those busy bees that loves to go into every little, flower to get the pollen and
Mhm.
connect, then Satu is definitely for you. Um, I don't know the gated community because I'm not in there. But if you do have funds that you just wanna like be the person that helps people with your money, then that's the way you need to go. Go into the gated community. Um, Out of offense, I think this has been the one of the best communities I am in other mentorships.
Mhm.
Damien as well. But the community is really lacking in a lot of other mentorships and mastermind.
Mhm.
It's really what Pace has instilled in every like in our culture that this is not an educational program. This is not a mentorship. He's not a teacher. He's none of that. This is a community, and that is just really, it's like after 2 years it's like, okay, I get it, Pace. This is a community, so that's what you're going to be getting when you join in any of these three programs.
Agree 100%. I mean, it's like a homecoming. I'm going to see you in like what, 4.5 weeks, hopefully.
Yes, on July 18. Just tell me where
Yes,
you're going
yeah,
to be.
and this is what I love about the community because I don't have a family. I have like one living person in my bloodline, and so I have to create
Oh,
my
wow.
own family. So having these relationships, I'm more interested in relationships. You can find deals. Deals are a dime a dozen. What you can't find is this, the organic, vanilla, raw, authentic relationships that are created through like, so I saw you first in New York City and then at the Golden Ticket and then at Squat Up and then yeah again and that's like what, within a year,
Mhm.
and I just met you and that's
Yeah, yeah,
so cool. And then you do your European mwah, mwah, fist bumps and it's just like, you're my next door
hmm
neighbor in,
hmm
one of the boroughs. Like it's so cool. Well,
yes.
thank you so much for your time, your
Thank you.
talent, sharing everything. It's been one of, I don't want to say it and offend anybody, but I will. It's been one of my most favorite interviews to have the pleasure of interviewing. What was Golden Ticket? Golden Ticket was an event that was held, when was it? November? You had to be pre-selected. I believe it was by invite only if you participated in the Give Back challenge, and then a leader gave the tickets away to the people that thought that like were the most involved. But I think I'm not going to quote, I think it's changing. So I won't speak on that behalf, but that's what it was. And it was all those investors getting together in Arizona at Pace's Place. And we heard speakers, we did games, we networking, collaborating. You watched me for the first time with someone shove a microphone in my face and I started crying.
Crying, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
was like, what's going on in here? I was like, why's she crying?
I know I'm always crying.
But your story, yes, it was tough. It was hot. When are those stories going? I thought they were gonna post it somewhere. Like,
I
what
don't
are they
know.
posting
Like
those?
it probably went into the content like Neverlands. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, because they interviewed anybody that wanted to get
Sure.
interviewed, and it was
Yeah.
a
Well,
lot. It was a lot. So
Well, maybe we can ask Derek or we can email Taya and see. And speaking of Taya, if you guys have wins and you want to be on a show like this, please email Taya at taya@pacemorby.com. And then it's a way to showcase all the amazing things that the community is doing. And you get to see what people are in the raw, because again, this is unscripted. It's going off just how it flows. And so it's a way to highlight you and to highlight other investors in the space.
So awesome. And Taya's email is also in the chat as well. So if you'd
Cool.
like to contact her via her email, she would love to hear about your wins. She is our community cheerleader,
Yeah.
and just
She's
so
doing an
happy.
amazing job too.
Yeah, seriously.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, Pace's team, they know how to hire, I tell you what.
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed.
Oh my gosh, what an inspiring story. It was so awesome. All the little nuggets that you were dropping today. I'm like writing down all these quotes. I loved it. Y'all are great.
Next,
Thank you.
maybe you and I can share a stage sometime, Evelyn. Because I mean, there's only like 30% of speakers are female, and Pace announced it at Squad Up Summit. He's like, we need more speakers on the stage. Okay, Pace, you got me, you got Evelyn. What's up? You know, like.
Yes.
Yes, I love to see these ladies win for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, super, super cool. Well, if you were just joining us, maybe you joined us a little bit late and you want to hear the rest of Evelyn's story, don't hesitate to catch it on wherever you stream podcasts, because I will drop the links in here for where you can listen to it on Spotify and Apple. And you can catch other episodes. We have plenty of other speakers and guests, as well as our lovely female guests, because, we want to see women win as well. And you can check it out there, definitely. And then last but not least, again, I was just talking earlier about the Money Bee Challenge. So if you're not quite sure what community you want to join just yet, and you want to kind of maybe like dip your toe in and see what Paces communities have to offer, and just the effects that Pace definitely, all these ripple effects that happen when you're a part of one of Pace's communities, then you can definitely join the Money Bee Challenge and dip your toe in for sure and get some actionable steps.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because we just passed Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all of the men. And we appreciate men like Pace and the strong people that are on our teams. Like Evelyn has Damien, I have Frank and Daniel and a few others, like look at Damien. He's like, yeah, right. he made sure his girl got her props. No, but like, I just can't, because men, they highlight us too. And if we work together as a team and we highlight other people's strengths, like there's so much power in that when you have these strong men that are advocating and rooting for us, like us females. I know, I mean, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I need that in my life, And so just thank you to all the strong guys out there that have supported us then, now, and in the future. And happy Father's Day.
Absolutely.
Yes, that balance is so important. After all, your network is your net worth. So surrounding yourself with the right people is always important.
Yeah.
But I would love to see everybody in the chat give a round of applause for Kimberly and Evelyn today, because they just knocked it out of the park. It was so much fun listening to them. Just, a couple of pals having a conversation. We love to hear it.
I know. I loved every minute. It was so much fun.
All right. Well, with that, I will I'll say goodbye to everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or morning or evening, wherever you're at.
Adios.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.